Hey guys, Oscar and Sonny here with Parenting on Mission. Hey Sonny, we're here representing with our Texans.
Yes.
Texans playing the Pittsburgh Steelers today, so I'm expecting a win. Right now we're 0-2, but hopefully we get that first win of the season. Hey, today we're talking about our core value of being persistent. And basically what we're talking about is trying to teach our kids on how not to quit and how important that is. You know, that's really one of the most important values that we can teach our children is how to be persistent when things get hard or difficult in our life, how to keep moving forward. You know, sometimes when things get challenging, we're tempted to want to quit. And so one thing that we can count on in life is that there will be challenges. Exactly. And things will get difficult, but that's not the time to quit. That's the time for us to step our game up and be persistent. So that's our topic today. Sonny, what's your thoughts about being persistent?
Like you said, persistence is never giving up in challenges, but even for us being persistent as parents, never giving up on our dreams and our marriages and on each other and on our children, when we show that and model that for our children, then that's what we're going to see them give back in return, is showing those things, being able not to, you know, life is going to be hard. There are going to be things that are going to be difficult for you that you know, it's easier. It seems like it's easier to give up. It seems like it's easy, but those obstacles and challenges are those things that build character, help them to be resilient, because they're going to come in their adult lives as well. So we don't want to avoid them missing out on that opportunity for growth when they have those difficult times in their lives.
That's true. I think about so many examples, and I see, and we all have seen so many examples of individuals, maybe in our own lives or maybe in public life or on TV, whatever. So many people that only if they would have persisted, if they were persistent and didn't give up, they would have been able to achieve their goals that they had set for themselves, right? And, being persistent, when you really think about it, it's a personality trait. It's something that, you have within you, or sometimes we may call it a characteristic of sticking with things and not quitting. And these are the things that we must, as parents, teach our children to be persistent. People who form the personality trait of persistence are really the people that perform the personality of the opposite of persistence, which is quitting. That becomes a habit, and then we end up raising people who quit on their families. We end up raising people who quit on their jobs, or quit on their personal goals, or even quit on their educational goals. Then they have formed a habit of being a good quitter. Right. When what we really want to do is to have them have the characteristic of being persistent and not quitting.
I think that one thing I always tell the kids and the kids at schools, whatever you practice doing is what you become good at doing.
Right.
If you practice being persistent, you become good at become good at being persistent. But if you practice quitting and stopping, and then that's what you become good at. We talked earlier about folks who you get to that last semester of college before graduation, one class, and you don't graduate. Just at that time, life may have gotten difficult, and it's gonna happen. But that is just that. You're right there at the cup of a blessing.
Right.
I think that's we don't stick around long enough to receive the blessing. And I think that when we're talking about our children, that's the important thing, teaching them that it's going to be difficult, and it is hard watching them struggle through something, be it a sport or be it they've chosen to be a part of something that it became really difficult because they didn't think about their schedule and the time it would take.
Right.
And you're watching them struggle, and you want to say, well, just you can go on and do that, but you know that if you do that, if you make that accommodation, that is going to be life altering for them, and I think that most importantly is that we have to ensure that they are the kind of folks who stick with it. Because as we see in this world and our society right now, it's hard.
Well, yeah, life is
It's hard. It's hard, but only time I think we switch.
Well, sometimes life, we make it harder than it has to be.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. You're right about that. But I think that when we teach them that they'll be able to carry that on for generations to come. And that's what's important,
Right. Well, when it comes to teaching persistence, we have to show our children by example, because at the end of the day, our children are looking at us. Believe it or not, we may think they're not paying attention to what we say, and you know what? They may not be paying attention to what we say. They're paying attention to what you do.
True.
They pay more attention to what you do. So if your children see, you starting pursuing something and see you quit, they then say, oh, well, it got hard for mom or it got hard for dad and they quit. So now it's hard for me and I'm going to quit too.
Quitting begets quitting.
Right. Why should I be persistent? So what we have to show them by leading by example of how to be persistent when things get hard, and when they see us push through things, that's how they start to learn that important value of just being persistent and sticking with it. We can't let our children quit when things get hard, or when their assignment gets hard, or they come across a difficult teacher, it gets hard, or they chose this subject, but it's just so hard. Can I just go back to, no, you chose this, let's stick with it. Let's take the challenge on.
I think that when we're teaching them too is to make sure, I think that highlighting some at the beginning of the school year, usually in the summertime, asking the kids, what are their goals for the school year? What are your goals academically, as far as spiritually, physically? What are some goals you have for yourself?
Right.
And the important thing in having them having goals, because you can't be like a ship without a sail, just, flowing to and fro. However, it also shows that when things get difficult, they finished that goal, they accomplished it, even through the difficulties that they experienced that school year. And then you're able to highlight, hey, look, you did a great job. Look what you did.
High five.
And the only time, and then I think too, when you teach persistence, because we don't want them to be persistent in things that are going to be harmful.
Right, or persistent in the wrong thing.
In the wrong thing, right. You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure we have a boundary there, saying that when there's a safety issue, it could be physically unsafe, it could be spiritually, it could be emotionally or mentally unsafe.
Sure.
That's when it's okay to step back and reevaluate this. Not quit, but reevaluate what is the unhealthy thing about this. Even, like we talked about persistent in relationships, and, when is it becoming unhealthy?
Yeah.
So making sure that they understand that, because as parents, we want to be Captain Save-A-Child.
Right.
We come in, we put that cape on, we swoop in and, save the day. Who messed with my baby? Who said what about my baby?
That's right.
But if it's not a safety issue, then teach them how to do that, like at school. Have them, teach them how to email the teacher and say, good afternoon, Miss So-and-so, Mr.
Respectfully.
Respectfully. I'm having a concern with this, and letting them express that. And then, I look forward to speaking back with you.
Right.
And that way you're teaching them that it's difficult. You're not going to drop the class, but you communicate with that teacher. You ask for help. You ask for more clarity so that you can be successful in it. And those are the types of things you teach them: when to be persistent, when not to be persistent. And then how do you do your persistence to accomplish that goal? How do you do it respectfully so that it's not damaging to the relationships?
That's right. So one thing, just kind of in conclusion here on this topic of persistence, I've been working in business for about 25 years now. It doesn't seem like it. But I remember this one thing an HR manager said, and she said that they hire people who complete college because for them what it shows is that they were persistent. They stuck with something for 4 years. When it was difficult, They had difficult assignments, difficult instructors, difficult
Time management.
other students that were difficult, other personalities. They had to wake up early in the morning. When it rained, they had to go to school. When it was cold, they had to go to school, because you don't just have to go to school when it's nice and sunshiny.
Yeah.
You got to go to school when it's cold and raining or real hot.
Ice out there.
You know, but they did it. They got the degree. They stuck in for 4 years. So if they hire that person in their company, they realize that individual may not quit when the assignment gets hard, or when the job gets hard, or when the boss gets hard and your coworkers start tripping and things of this nature, right? So it's really important, just, this value of being persistent. And when that HR manager mentioned that to me, it just clicked, and I thought it was important to kind of mention that as we were talking about it, because we are trying to equip our children for life, right? So we are just literally just teach our children to stick with it. Don't quit.
Don't be a quitter.
Yeah, don't be a quitter. Unless you say, unless it's unhealthy,
right?
Then it's okay to kind of reevaluate and step away.
Right. You signed up for this football team. You're going to stay with this team all summer.
Or this drill team. Or whatever it is.
This is what you have to do. This is what you committed. It's about commitment too. You committed to doing.
You signed up for this marriage.
Right.
We're not quitting. You signed up for these children.
You're in it to win it.
We're not quitting on our families, right? That's the value. That's what we get out of having good, strong, persistent children that we're raising. So you got any parenting points this week?
I thought, I would just share with you guys some ways that you can encourage your children when they are having difficult times, and making sure that you highlight when they overcome something, when they're persistent and push through an obstacle. So something, it may sound like this: you should be proud of yourself. You stuck with it. Or look at all your hard work. And you notice you should be proud of yourself, not I'm proud of you,
right?
Because it's intrinsic. It's not just about your parents. You should be proud of what you did, that you stuck with it. The more you practice, the better you become. And here are some Sonny Oscar things that we say.
Mostly Sonny.
Yeah, maybe Sonny. I say things like, hey, Chevrolet.
Yeah, I would say that.
Oscar says they ain't nothing for a stepper.
Nah, I say that one. I take ownership of that.
I do my little dance. Don't stop, get it.
Yeah, we do that one. Okay.
You have to encourage your children. I tell my children, and I don't know if this may be politically correct, or I don't know if I offend somebody, I'm sorry. But I just tell them all the time, you ain't no punk. Your mama ain't no punk. Your dad ain't no punk. My mama wasn't no punk. His mama wasn't no punk. Yeah. So ain't no punk in you.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna punk us.
Right, ain't no punk in you. So we don't stop. We do what we have to do, and we finish. And that's what you want to encourage your children. And I think most importantly, to empower them. And you empower them. You be empowered yourself. Right. And you explain to them, parent tip number 3 or 4, I don't know which number I'm on, but you explain to them and say, hey, this class is hard for me, but mama gonna push through this, or daddy's gonna push through this job. Man, this boss I have, I'm going to push through it. And
I'm not going to quit.
Yeah, you teach them to talk it through, and you talk it through with them as a family, and then they see you modeling persistent behavior.
Right.
So persistence begets persistence.
That's it. So any words of encouragement this week for the parents on how to be persistent?
Yep. Go forth and be great parents. We encourage you.
Be great.
Yeah.
Well, hey, guys, take the time to subscribe to our page, like our video, share our video, comment below. And Oscar and Sonny here with Parenting on Mission. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode. And remember that parenting is a lot easier when it's done on mission. Talk to you next time.
Have a great week.
Go Texans.